Hey everyone, this is Dr. Candace Silva from Rustic Ranch Remedies. Today is a full moon, and this is the day that I like to make macerates and glycerites and also strain them when they're done. A lot of herbal infusions are made around the cycle of the moon, and the full moon is the perfect time in order to start an infusion or for that infusion process to be finished. I have two extracts that are finished today. I made them on the last full moon that I will be straining at the end of this video. Right now I'm going to show you how I made the macerate. A macerate is a oil extraction of an herb. So we're going to be placing the herb matter. In this case, we're going to be using elderflower, and we're going to be using the oil, organic golden jojoba oil. I have a scale here, but it's not a necessity in order to use a scale. I like to keep accurate notes on all my infusions, so that way I can duplicate everything I've done and I can make tweaks based on the information that I've gathered. I'm just going to use this simple mason jar here. We're tearing out the weight of the glass so it reads 0 here. And we're going to place the elderflower inside. You're gonna put as much plant material in here as you want. The more plant material, the stronger the extraction. Okay, so I'm gonna stop at 40 here. The jar is about, I would say about 2/3 full. In an oil extraction, you're going to extract all the oil-soluble components from the plant material. If you're wanting to extract the water-soluble components of the herbs, this is not the method that you want to use. You're going to want to use something like a glycerite in order to get the water-soluble components from the herbs. So do your research and find out what components you want to get in your extract, whether they're water-soluble or oil-soluble, and use the correct solvent in order to do that. I like to use jojoba oil in my extractions a lot of the times. Traditionally, olive oil is used quite a lot in herbal extractions. Sweet almond oil is also used. There's a lot of different oils that you can use in order to extract your herbs. You just want to find the one that works best for you. I like personally using jojoba oil. It does not go rancid. It has a really long shelf life. I love the skin feel of it. I love what it does for your skin for both oily and dry skin types, all skin types. It mimics the oil that our skin naturally produces, which is called sebum. It has a beautiful skin feel to it, and it has a very neutral smell as well. So I just love jojoba oil. So I marked down that I put in 40 grams of elderflower. We're going to tear the scale, so we're excluding this weight, and we're starting at 0 again, and we're going to weigh how much oil we're using now. And you want to get about 1 inch or so above the plant material, because the plant material is going to absorb the oil. So, and you want to always make sure that the plant material stays below the level of the oil. I'm just going to let that bubble there. You want to get all the air bubbles out, and you can help that along by giving it a little stir, just getting the oil down in all the little crevices and releasing any air bubbles that might be in there. And I'm going to add a little bit more. And that does not feel packed at all. It feels nice and loose. There's plenty of room. All the plant material is covered now. You want to use dry herbs for this technique of extraction. I know that some people use fresh herbs for this, but you want to avoid any water getting into your oil extraction because it will start to grow things you do not want to grow. And on my notes, I've also listed the date. It has the name of what this extraction is, and then the grams of each, the elderflower and jojoba oil that you've used. If you use a different oil other than jojoba oil, it's a good idea to include an antioxidant in it, like vitamin E or rosemary CO2 extract, to prolong the shelf life of the oil to prevent it going rancid. You don't need to do that with jojoba oil though. So I'm going to put the lid on and just create a label on here. Make sure it has the what is in it, or the name of your blend, and the date. So now we have the name of the extract and the date here, so I can refer back to my notes. On my notes, I also like to include the date of when I want to strain the extract. There are cases when you don't want to use as much herb material as I have in here. If you're using powdered herbs, those tend to absorb a lot of the oil and expand. So you would want to use a lot less volume in the jar than I did with this elderflower macerate. And also, if you're going to infuse vanilla beans, you would only need to put 1 vanilla bean in this entire jar in order for that to be enough for an infusion. And the only thing that you need to do now is just give it a good shake about every day. Make sure that the plant material is below the line of the oil. So that's it for making a macerate. It's pretty easy. So in order to strain now a macerate that I have made, I'm using the stainless steel drip coffee strainer, and that sits just right on top of this measuring cup. It's a really fine mesh, and I'm going to use this this infusion I made at the last full moon. So I just take off the lid and pour the contents inside the strainer. And you just let gravity do its work. It'll take a while for all the oil to go down, and then when it gets closer, you can press the herb material to have more of the oil release from the herb matter. And you can see that this is a kind of a earthy green color to it. A lot of the oil soluble parts in plants have color to them, so they will color your oil that you've used. And then I have this other drip coffee strainer. This one doesn't sit on top, unfortunately. And I'm going to strain this second infusion. And I have a blend of all kinds of herbs in these 2 infusions. And you can see a difference here. This one is a lot more yellow, where this one here is a lot more green. And I'll just let those sit there, and we'll come back later. I'm going to let this finish dripping in here, since this is sitting below the oil line. And so this is what this one turned out to be like. That's really pretty yellowy green color, and it smells really nice too with the herbs that I use. And then just pour it in another mason jar, or a jar or container of your choice. I will be putting the remainder of the oil in here when it's done dripping. Make sure you put a label on what it is. Make sure it matches your notes. I put the date that I made it, the date that I strained it, and the oil that is in here. And then you just need to put a top on, and you are done. There's a few other ways that you can make herbal infusions with oil. There's a really fast way where you can place what you made, like this for instance, in a crock pot with warm water, have the top off, and just let it stay in hot water for a period of time. You can have that infusion done in a few hours. You can do it the way that I've done it, which is with moon cycles, or you can just wait 4 to 6 weeks for the herbal infusion to be done. It depends on the method that you choose to use and how you want to make your infusion. And this one here, I just wanted to show, this one has some, this one has a little bit of a powder to it, so it might be clogging up some of the, around the edges here where the holes are. And definitely you can see that it's starting to strain a lot faster. So kind of moving the plant material away from the edges here kind of helps free everything up again. So that's something that you can do if it's just going really slow. I'm going to strain this oil out now so we can see the difference between the two extracts. You can see you have a little sediment on the bottom. I made sure I didn't pour that out into the jar. And we see quite a big difference between these two extracts. This one is a lot more yellow and golden, where this one is more opaque almost and greenish color to it. And that's just showing the difference between these two herbal mixtures. So to recap, you want to first choose the herbs you want to use and make sure that the components that you want from those herbs are oil soluble. Choose an oil you want to use in order to infuse the herbs into. Choose the herbal extraction method you want, whether you want a fast infusion or a longer infusion, and whether or not that's going to revolve around the cycle of the moon. Always write down how much herb, what herb you put in the extract, the date, and make sure that's on paper in your notes as well as the jar, so there is no confusion on what this oil may be. And then at the end of the infusion time, just strain it and put it into a bottle or jar of your choice. Make sure you label that one as well. This is a way you can infuse a lot of really amazing extracts from plant and herbs into your skincare formulations that you want to use. There's all kinds of different amazing properties that herbs and plants have that you can then infuse into the oils to include in your formulations. And again, this is a dry herb method. I'm not familiar with using fresh herbs. I know that some people do that and they do it with great success. This is not that method. I do not. If you have any questions, please leave them below and give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I also have a Instagram and Facebook account at Rustic Ranch Remedies. Please check those out and give them a follow. And that's it for this video. I will see you next time. Bye.